We've been looking at The Walrus and the Carpenter by Lewis Carroll.
The sun was shining bright on the sea, shining with all his might. He did his very best to make the billows smooth and bright, and this was odd because it was the middle of the night.
The moon was shining sulkily because she thought the sun had got no business to be there after the day was done. It's very rude of him, she said, to come and spoil the fun. The sea was wet as wet could be, the sand was dry as dry. You could not see a cloud because
No cloud was in the sky.
no birds were flying overhead. There were no birds to fly.
The Walrus and the Carpenter were walking close at hand. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand.
If this were only cleared away, it would be grand.
If 7 maids of 7 mops sweat for half a year, do you suppose,
the Walrus said,
that they could get it clear?
I doubt it, said the Carpenter, and shed a bitter tear.
Oh, oysters, come and walk with us.
The Walrus did beseech, a pleasant talk, a pleasant walk along the briny beach. We cannot do with more than 4 to give a hand to each.
The eldest oyster looked at him, but not a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head, meaning to say that he did not choose to leave the oyster bed. But 4 young oysters hurried up, all eager for their treats. Their coats were brushed, their faces washed, their shoes were clean and neat. This was odd because, they hadn't any feet.
4 other oysters followed them, and yet another 4. And thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more.
All hopping through the frosty wind, scrambling to the shore.
The Walrus and the Carpenter
Walked on a mile or so,
and then they rested on a rock,
conveniently low.
and all the little oysters
Stood and waited
in a row.
The time is kept, the Walrus said,
To talk of many things.
of shoes and ships and sealing wax and cabbages and cakes and why the sea is boiling hot and whether pigs have wings.
But wait a bit, the oyster cried. Before we have our chat, some of us are out of breath, and all of us are fat. No hurry, said the Carpenter. They thanked him much for that.
A loaf of bread, the Walrus said, is what we chiefly need.
Now, pepper and vinegar besides.
Are very good indeed.
Now, if you're ready,
Oyster dear.
we can begin to feed.
But not on us.
The oysters cried.
Turning them into blue. After such kindness, that would be a dismal thing to do.
Do you arrive with you? Oh, no. Oh, sorry. The night is fine.
The Walrus said.
Do you mind with you? It was so kind of you to come, and you are so very nice. The Carpenter said nothing but, cut us another slice. I wish you were not quite so deaf. I've had to ask you twice.
It seems a shame, the Walrus said, to play them such a trick. We brought them out so far and made them talk so quick.
The Carpenter said nothing, but the butter spread too thick. I wait for you, the Walrus said. I deeply sympathise. With sobs and tears, the Walrus said. Those of largest size, holding his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes.
Oh, Oyster, said the Carpenter,
You've had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again? But answer came there none. And this was scarcely odd because
Ladies and everyone!